So yeah, as I said, our topic, linked arrays. So let's start with the arrays when we want to create it. So I gave you some tips here on top, or some hints about what we should do. So the first one, we want to create an array for the fruit names with 10 spaces. Alright, so if I want to create an array that can hold 10 fruit names, who can give me an idea? I want to call it our fruits. So how do I create that array that can hold 10 fruit names? What must I write? Guide me through this. Yeah, our fruits. Say again. Sorry, I missed. Then you say? Colon and control space. Oh, sorry. Colon and control space, yeah. All right. Array C or D? Okay. All right. 0 to 9. Okay, we'll go that route for now. Of string without that. All right. So this will keep 10 fruits for us. Of type string. So fruit names, because it's names, we need string. Now we also want the next part asks us to create an array for the fruit prices with 10 spaces. So let's just see, I copied somebody's code here. Okay, there's no price array. So let's call it our price. Okay, our prices. So I'll go same way. RC. Again, we want 10 spaces, so we make it 9 again. Of what data type for prices? Yes. All right, and then a variable to keep track. So that would just be our Q, which is an integer. All right, so there's our arrays created. My next question would be, do I need another? So this Q will keep track of how many names I've got. Do I need another integer variable to keep track of how many prices I've got? Why not? Yes, because it's linked, if I can use that word. Because if I've got 5 fruits, I'll have 5 prices. I won't have more fruits than prices or more prices than fruit because they go together. For every fruit I've got in my shop, there's a price for it. If I've just got a price that doesn't fit with the fruit, that's just stupid. What would I do with it? I can just throw it away. And if I do have a fruit without a price, I need to give it a price so that I can sell it. Otherwise, again, what's the use of it? So these two, if I've got 5 fruits, I've got 5 prices. And if I've got 10 fruits, I'll have 10 prices. So they will be linked. So I only need one counter to keep track of both of these values. So then I asked you guys to do the read button. Most of you, I think all of you said you have done it. So I hope it worked. What you would have done, created your text file variable, maybe assigned it, the TF to your fruit.txt. Then you reset your TF because you want to read from the text file. You started your Q at 0 because that's our first position. Then we repeat it because everything from now on, but you could have also seen we're removing a fruit and adding a fruit. But over and above that, you must also just remember, we don't necessarily know. If the question paper doesn't tell you, listen, there's 5 fruits, you can't use a for loop. So we have to go either repeat or while. Either one could have worked. This person went with repeat. So repeat's good. So we repeat, we read out of TF, and he put it into fruits queue, which is okay for now. We incremented Q because we read one. So we can go to the next one. And we want to carry on doing this until we're at the end of the file of TF. So this will carry on reading all of them, putting them all in the array fruits queue. But every time we read one and then we increment, and then we check is there another one. So when we're at the end, we just have to decrement again to remove that one, just to have our counter sorted. And then he went with his display part. So this is our display area. So he cleared the rich edit. And then to display it, we needed our for loop. So for a for loop, we needed a variable I, which is an integer. So we for looped from 0 to Q, and we displayed all the array fruits I in there. We need to try and remember every time after we're done reading, we need to close file tf. That could cause a problem later on, but it's a good thing to always do. Even in later stages, if you tell me, but sir, I'm never going to use this text file again, I'm not going to save to it or read it again or add to it. As soon as you close the TF, you should have released the memory space as well. So especially one day when you start creating bigger programs, you want to make it memory efficient, like looking at how much RAM is used. And then by closing that, your program uses less RAM space. That means your program can run faster on a weaker computer, and that's always good. That means you've got more clients that could use it because everybody doesn't need to upgrade to the best PC to run your program. So we need to think of things like that as well. And then just for in the meantime, in grade 12 and grade 11, a lot of times there's one mark allocated for closing the file. So closing it just gives you an additional mark. All right, so this is good. Our problem, let's clear on this thing. Let's just see how it goes. Read. It looks good, except look at all this hash stuff now that's here. It just looks ugly. Alright, so degree when we display, we don't want to see it like this. It would be nice to have the fruit name, and then maybe have a space, and then have the prices. So let's look at that. So after we cleared it, the ideal way we want to show it is to have our fruit name, and then how do we create a nice tab again to put stuff in a nice column? What do we use? Yes, yes. All right, so then we just put that as headings. See, now let's quickly run it again. So we want the fruit names and then nice gap and then the prices. All right, so who wants to help me now? So we have to do it inside the loop. Do you agree? Because obviously at this stage, this is where we read the first one, but now we don't want it like it's looking. We want to remove that hash with a number after that. How can I do that? What do I need to do? Position. How would you do that? Like position that -1. No, no, no. Yeah. All right. So that looks good to me. I'm going to make it, maybe just break it up a bit for if somebody didn't follow 100%. So do you agree what we've got currently? Okay, wait, let's play this in any case. Let's see what we get. Yeah, looks perfect. So what we've got in our fruits queue, this stage. We've got something like an apple, and then a hash, and then 5. So what we do want to do is we want to know where the hash is. So if you want to do one-liner, that's 100%. Or you could we can step 1 find out where is this hash we're talking about. And to find out where a specific thing is, remember we used the pos function. So pos tells us where a specific character is in a string. So we want to find out where is the position of the hash inside our rfruits queue. So this we're going to find out where is the hash inside this array. So that will not tell us it's 2 for the position 6. It will tell us where this hash is. So now we know where the hash is. But what do we actually want in our rfruits queue? Do you agree we only want this part, only everything in front of it? So our rfruits queue should actually have only a piece of the string. So now you have to remember, oh, how do I get a piece of a string again? And that's with the copy function. Okay, so pos is find a character, and then in this case we're going to do the copy, which gives us a part of a string. Right, so now we want to copy, and remember how the copy works. Copy first thing out of what? So we want to copy out of our rfruits queue. We want to use that one. Where do we want to start copying? The first character. Where do we want to stop? At the hash. But if you just say hash, it's going to include the hash. We don't want the hash, so that's why I want to stop just one before the hash. And remember, technically this is for how many characters do we want to copy. So pos of the hash would tell us 6. So this would actually give us an answer of 6. And if you just said hash here, you're basically saying copy out of rfruits queue from the first character, take 6 characters. So it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. So that's not, we don't want 6 characters. We want one less than that, so that we can stop at 5 characters to only take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. So that's basically what was done there, all in one line, but it's fine. So now we've got that. So when we play this, we're very happy. Fruit names looks fantastic, but the prices are gone. We technically lost that information. It's gone. So that's not what we want. So, but then you remember, we created an array, our prices, for the prices. So my R prices at position Q must now get a value. So how can I only get this piece? Remember, some of the fruits, I think like mango and stuff, has got 2 characters though. And others has got 1. And maybe you get some special fruit of some tree that's extinct that costs thousands of rands. We don't know. So the only thing we do know is the price is after the hash. How many characters we don't know, but it's after the hash. So who wants to help me? How can I only get the price to put in here? Yeah. That you put your heading inside. Oh yeah. So yeah, the key thing with this is always remember how many times do I want to show. So the heading only once. And also you'll see a common mistake is some people put the heading before the clear. So that would, it's sort of wasting your time because you're displaying the heading and then clearing it. Yeah. Yes, we're going to do that. Yeah, we're going to create a display function. Yeah. All right, everybody good? Now I'm back to my question again. I answered your question, so now you guys must help me with my question. How can I only get the prices? Yes, talk to me. Yeah. Hash. Yeah. Okay. Okay, no problem. Or fruits Q, yeah. Comma hash plus one. Okay, so we can do length of our fruits Q. All right, that sounds good. Just to add on this, do you remember if we don't have this, would it still work? Okay, let's leave it there for now. If you put it there, that's fine. If you leave it out, it also goes to the end. So copy's actually got two versions, one with 3 parts and one with only 2. Then it will go from this position to the end. Copy out of that, starting there, and if you don't have this last part, it will go automatically to the end. All right, so our only problem, I sort of try to force you guys in making a mistake. Who can already tell me what went wrong with what I tried to force you into? Why would this not work? Okay. So what, you wanted to remove that or put something else there? Or what do you want to do there? You can. Okay, so length would also work fine. So let's assume that's fine. What else is wrong? All right, so that's one mistake. Yes. So remember, copy gives us a string, but our prices is a double. So if we play it also, it's going to say there's an error, and then it says incompatible types double and string. So we just needed to change the string to a double. So double dot double. Ish, you see, the holiday was too long. How do I change the string to double again? No, sorry, I see my holiday was also too long. Yes. All right, float to string. Double dot parse double is Java code. Ish, sorry. All right, so what? Is it float to string? No. Yes, thanks. Because remember, copy gives me a string that I want to change to a float. All right, that's better. Now the conversion is fine, but this will still not work right. What else do I need? So there's sort of two mistakes, but let's see where who sees what. You want to tell me what else do we need to do or change? So something we need to add still, and there's something we need to change the sequence of or the position we want to put the stuff. So who wants to help me with either one? Okay, let me quickly play this. Let me show you. So I'm playing this and clicking read, and then floating point value ish, errors and errors. So who wants to guide me? What do we need to do? So that floating error is because of the sequence of something. We must put something in a different place, but we must also add something to make it work more. Any guesses? All right. So we can't. Array fruits is a string. What would you convert it to? Because it's a string and it's words in it. So we can't. That should be there. Let's quickly trace this thing. So we're repeating, which is fine. So we're starting the loop. We're reading the first line, so we're getting that. which is fine. Then we're hashing, finding out where the hash is. So the hash will tell us position 6 is where the hash is. Now we say our fruits must get the value copy from there. So what this one will actually put in now, our fruits will now only be apple. Remember, you're copying that piece now and you're putting it into our fruits. So our fruits at this stage only has apple. And now you get here. Yes, 100%. Because at this stage, we already deleted the price. The price is gone. And now we're using that to try and look with the hash position. And that's why the error we got. Because remember apple now that's left here. This is 6. So we're saying, all right, take the R fruits queue, which is apple, copy from position 6. So it's going to go count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How can I now start at 6 to start copying here? What's wrong with you guys? And that's why we got the error. Yes. Yes, you changed it. So we need to take this out. And before we change it, put it in there. So getting the price, we must just get the price first. And then we can do that one. Let's see if this works now. Click read. Oh, no error. But there's no prices. Alright, so because we did it in the right sequence now, everything is sorted. So we fixed our syntax error. But there is now still a logical error. And who can tell me why can't I see my prices? What went wrong? Yes. Close. Position. Okay, so if we play this, it's an error. Yes. So what do I need to say? Yes, flow to string. So we just need to convert that one now back to string. Now play this thing, and then hopefully it's going to work. And it looked so nearly good. But now there's a gap. See this gap and that gap is not the same. But you'll see, you can even see this line here. You'll see everything is nicely lined up. So that means it's good. But you can see there that fruit name went on right until that space. So this fruit name, the heading was longer than the first tab. Tabs are like specific positions. So the first tab is probably there. But fruit name already bypassed that. So that's why fruit name went past the first tab. So when you set plus tab, it actually went to the second tab. So how can we fix this? What do you think? You just add another tab. Because that one jumped to the second one, so we just put in 2 tabs here. Alright, let's see how this works. And we read it, and fantastic. Apple, mango, lychee, orange, and nachi. All of them sorted. Alright, and what we've got at this stage now, we've got 2 arrays. We've got an array prices and an array fruits. Both of them has got the array fruits has got all the fruits inside, all the fruit names. And the array prices has got all the prices of each of those fruits. And they want to say linked with the inverted quotes with my hands in the sense that the fruit in position 0, his price is in price position 0. And the fruit in position 1, his price is in price position 1. And fruit in 2, price is in 2. And fruit in 3, price is in 3. And fruit in 4, his price is in 4. So by looking at the positions, we can find out. So if I asked you, what is the price of the fruit that is in position 2, you just go to the price in position 2. And then you can tell me what is the price of that fruit. So let me quickly run through it again. Let's just, from the top, let's see nicely what we've done. Then I'll hang on by the display a bit. So what we did, we created our text file. Let's go right to the top. Let's start there. So we created a string array that can hold 10 strings for the fruit names. We created a double array that can hold 10 doubles for the prices. And we had one counter to keep track of how many fruits are in these two arrays. Then in our program, we're reading from a text file. So we needed a text file variable. And when we display, we're using a for loop. So we needed our counter. And in our program, we needed to find out where the hash was so that we can split the name from the price. So we created those variables. Because we're reading from a text file, we assigned our text file variable to our text file. We reset the text file. Reset because we're reading from that text file. And then our queue, we started at 0 because with my arrays, I started at 0. So remember, those of you that wants to stick with the ones, you would then start your queue at 1. And then we don't know how many elements are in our text file. So we needed a conditional loop. So we went with a repeat loop. A while loop would have been just as fine. So we said repeat the following. We read the first line from the text file and put that into our fruits array. Sometimes some of you, when you start realizing this, what is good sometimes, what I do is I create another variable here. Let's say like line of type string. And then what I do is when I read, I put it into line. And then you can put the fruit, you can have this part because then you're going to copy from line and put it in the fruit array. And then you can copy from the line again and put it in the prices. So then you don't need to worry about the overwriting of these things. So, but in the next program, especially when we start to having 3 pieces, that really helps. You can keep it in mind, but I'll repeat it again then. So we read the first line and we already put it into our array, into our string array because it can hold anything. So we had a value like that. I think the apple was 15 rand though. So we read that line and put it in there. Then we found out where's the hash. So the hash variable, using pos function to find out the position of the hash inside our fruits queue. And that would have told us it's in position 6. That's where the hash was. Then we got the price first. So I said our array prices at position Q. We needed to convert it because we need to take it from a string to a double because this array is a double. And the piece we wanted to convert was we wanted to copy out of this array and we wanted to start just after the hash and we wanted to go to the end. With this one, with your copy function, if you go to the end, you don't need a last piece. Let me just show you. It's like when you read, it still works fine. So your copy actually has 2 options. You want to copy out of this variable at this starting position for this amount of characters. But if you want to go to the end, you can just say copy out of this variable and start there. And then it would automatically go to the last one. So just remember that's a nice thing to actually use with that. No wonder also suggested a good one when she just said like go to 100. Because if you go over, that's fine. It does just stop at the end, so it doesn't give us an error. So even with like in this case, we started at 6 and then we went to the length of it. So technically by adding that length part, we said start at position 6 or actually plus 1. So we said start at position 7 and then length is 8. So we actually technically told it start at the 7th position and take 8 characters. which there was only 2. But it wasn't a problem because with a copy, if you go over, that's fine. But to try and figure that out, if you can remember, don't say how many characters, just leave it open and then it will just work. It will go to the end for us. So we copied the end after the hash, we converted it to a double, and then we put it into the price. And then we copied from the fruits from position 1 to just before the hash, and that we replaced into our fruits queue. So that removed the price part. Then we needed to increment queue so that we can just have more than 1. So that when we read the next line, it goes to the next. Carried on until the end of the text file. We just decremented the last one that didn't count. We closed our text file. And then for display purposes, we cleared our text area and then we just added the headings. And then we made our for loop to go through all the elements, and we displayed the rfruits I. We added 2 hash9s. With this one, the best way is you play it and you see. If you need one more, you add one more. If you need one less, you just take away one. So don't worry too much. Just remember the hash9s. If it doesn't align nicely, add another hash9 until it aligns nicely. Generally, mark allocation with this would just be a tick for the hash9. If there's 2 or 3, generally they're not too technical with that. So even though it doesn't align 100%, for you knowing that it needed to have a hash9, they'll give you the tick most of the time. And then to display the prices, we just needed to convert back to a string. Alright, so then for the last bit of today, I want to just guide you through the sort, just so that we can see. So we want to sort it alphabetically. So let's go to that one. Alright, so who can help me? When we want to sort, what does our structure look like again? Yes, it's 4, 4. And if. Alright, we can maybe just have our begin and begin and begin, the end, the end, the end. Alright, and then we've got our I and our J. Alright, so our first for loop. So even though it's linked arrays, we're just working, for now we're working with 2 arrays. But if we're working with 2 arrays, or 3 arrays, or 4 arrays, or 5 arrays, it doesn't matter. Our sort always looks like this. So our first for loop, for I starts at 0 and it goes to Q. Perfect. Our next one, remember that's our J loop. So our J loop starts at I and it goes to Q. Alright, remember you can, if you wanted to improve this a bit, this one could have started at or ended at Q minus 1. This one could have started at Q of I plus 1. This is more efficient, but going without will also work fine. So I'm going to leave it for that. No, okay, let's add the improvements. So minus 1 just saves us a little bit of CPU time, and the plus 1 saves us a little bit of CPU time. But the key thing is, yeah. Just trying to think now. I don't think so. If I remember, I'm very sure you don't. By just having your Q and your I, it should get you total in any case, yeah. Alright, then in our if, so we want to sort it alphabetically. So how will my if look? What do I do in my if? Who wants to guide me? Array fruits at position I is created. Yes, they said alphabetical. Yes. If they ask you to sort it according to the prices from most expensive or cheapest to most expensive, then you'd go with prices. So because it's alphabetical, we use array fruits. 100% correct. And then inside this, if, what do we do inside here? We need a temp variable of type what? All right. What do I do inside here? All right. Yeah. Go to J. Oh, all right. Fruits at position J. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Why did you do that? Perfect. Remember now with this piece here, so this part here doesn't change. We're not even including the prices here because we're not sorting according to prices. We just want to check the fruit names to decide if we want to swap them or not. But then on the inside, as soon as you swap the fruits, you must swap the prices as well so that the apple stays 15 Rand and the orange stays 5 and the naartjie stays 5 as well, whatever. I can't remember what the prices was. But so you want to, the prices should stick together with the fruits themselves. And that's why so you need another temp variable of type double now so that you can swap the prices around. As soon as you swap the fruit, then you just swap the price as well. And that's literally all you change. And you'll see my display, I just copied it again. So now if we run this, we read it, there's that. And then if we sort alphabetical, you'll see lychee stage 2, mango stage 25, naartjie and orange 55. Please talk to me. Okay, so let's quickly, before I jump to saving to the text file, any questions that any of you've got applies to like the remove. Structure stays the same. It's just on the right, on the inside, when we moved everything up, we must just move the fruit name up and the price up. But the 4E4 stays exactly the same. Sorry then, Pavan, tell me, with your save, what is your problem you've got there? Okay. Okay, so I don't want to do too much. I'll help you with one line. So when we're saving, remember on the right on the inside, you're gonna say right, right line, and then you want to write to TF. Am I correct? And now what you do there is you want to write your array fruits at position I, because this is inside a loop, I assume. But then remember how the text file look. It's the fruit name, and then it's a hash, and then it's our float to string of our array prices. Oh, okay. So So literally this is all you do. So in the past we just ended off there. We just did that. We just wrote array fruits to there. Now you don't just want that. You want the fruit name and then a hash and then the price. So that's why we just do it that route and then all that sorted. Oh, no. Because remember, you want to write it back the same way it was so that when you read it again, you can read it again. If you write it back in a different format, your read button won't work anymore. Yes.